Administrator in southern Tasmania. Thanks for joining me today. I'm just making sure that my iPad, okay, definitely got the volume working on that. Found that out by mistake. Anyway, but as I say, thanks for joining me. Going through some long-term stamp sets, I suppose you could call them, or stamp sets we've had for a wee while that are continuing in the next catalogue. So when I say continuing, it means that they're actually going to be for sale again, thankfully, for another 12 months. This Christmas season bundle, which is the Christmas season stamp set and the seasonal labels dies, were actually in the Christmas mini catalogue, so the one that ended in early January, and they are continuing it through into the current annual catalogue, which is really nice, but it does restrict itself a little bit to the Christmas season, which I think is a shame because it is a lovely stamp set. It's just images of, there's no sentiments actually in it, there's images of pine cones, holly leaves, holly berries, and some nice foliage and stuff there as well. And some of the foliage has two-part stamping, so you can put the main one in a light colour and then the highlight one in a dark colour to get a sort of two-tone stamping. So in itself, it's really, really nice, and I think it's a shame that we can only use it at Christmas time. And the reason I started thinking about this was because at the moment I'm having to change all the die sets that I use for my sentiment boxes because we're losing some of my favourites. We're losing Stitched So Sentimental, Stitch So Sweetly. We're losing various others that I can't think of right now. So I was thinking of some replacements for my favourite sentiment dies. And this one came to mind because, as you can see, apart from the dies that are the pine cones and the leaves, there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 really nice sentiment boxes there as well, ranging from this really big one, which would be nice as a centre point on a card itself, right down to this little smaller one here. And they also have the little tag ends that you can do, so you can sort of pop holes in them to put ribbons through as part of your design. So that's what made me start to think about this bundle as something that should be used all year round. And then I thought, well, why not? Why can't we use pine cones as well? So I did a bit of a Google because I'd never actually seen flowers and pine cones together on cards, and I realised that actually there is, quite a design, sort of in rustic. They were wedding bouquets, the ones I saw on online in Pinterest and online, but sort of like with flowers and pine cones all popped together in the one design. So I thought I came up with this card here. So this one I'm going to be slightly changing to show you a slight modification on this one. Basically the same. It's using the daisy punch, the medium daisy punch, which is one of my favourites and thankfully is continuing in the current catalogue. I better get it out because I want to be able to do some more for the next card. So there's my daisy punch, excuse the thud, and the pine cones from the stamp set. And I'm also using the smallest of the tailored tags there. This one's actually a Mother's Day present, a Mother's Day card. Now, I think it's made so nice, this card, by the fact that I've used the In Good Taste Designer Series paper as to give it that really country rustic look behind the scenes. And big highlight at the moment is that this In Good Taste paper is actually retiring. So, but at the moment it's half price. So you can get the packet of this In Good Taste Designer Series paper for $18.50 Australian, down from $37 or something. It's a really big, thick pack, and it's got lots of lovely wood grain and sort of background designs. But in this case, I think it actually makes this card pretty special. Okay, so we'll make fundamentally this design, but we will actually, as I say, change it up a wee bit. So what I've got to go with my lovely In Good Taste background panel, which is here, and I'm pleased to say I have actually just about finished my pack, so I'm not going to have a huge amount of it left over, it's such a shame to have paper left over and then not be able to use it. I've got my card base here, and it's going to make a 5.5 inch card. So this is 11 by 5.5, and it's scored at 5.5. So I'm going to get a square card out of that. And this is early espresso. Then I've got a panel of, and I've got to remember which one, smoky slate. So I've got a panel of smoky slate there, and that is 1/4 of an inch smaller. So that's 5 1/4 square. And then I've got the panel of the mat of the In Good Taste Designer Series paper with the lovely wood grain. Looks like it's sitting on some sort of bench or something. It's got some sort of tiling on the other side. Looks like somebody's bathroom. But we're going to be using this side, and that would be 5 1/4, 5 1/8 square. So that one there. So that's all what we're going to do with that. I might as well pop that together, save it getting separated on the craft table. So I'm just going to glue these panels, these mats down. I think this would make quite a nice sort of congratulations, even a sort of a wedding card for sort of that more sort of country wedding. I think that's my view anyway. Hope everyone's well, keeping safe and well, and not a victim of the dreaded lurgy. But if you are, I hope you're nice and safe and well. I can see a few names come on, a few familiar names. Judy, hi Judy, and Barb and Vicky. Well, Vicky, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. How exciting! And Kerry, good morning, and Sal, hey Sal, and Glenda and Julie. Great to see you guys. As you get on, if it's your first time, let me know it's your first time if you've just found me, or if you just tell me you're on and where you're from. And yeah, I'd love to see the comments, even if I get to them after the event. Anyway, so I've got that's the card base, and I will pop when at that late stage. I'll pop a white panel on the inside as well. I've got the boards going horizontally like that. You could do it that way if you wanted to, but I'm sort of going with them that way. Don't think it matters too much one way or the other. So I'm going to be using the daisies again, like I did with this one. Oh, and I've got to tell you where that Designer Series paper came from. It's the most surprising place. And anyone who's thinking of doing my product class this month, you'll be surprised and quite pleased, I hope. The pale papaya and polished pink, I think it is, little pale flowers that I've got on that card actually came from the New Horizons Designer Series paper. So this is the one I featured last week in a video. So as you can see, it's the other side of those horizon, those landscape pictures that are on one side, and they have lots of nice colours on the other side, and that pale papaya and the polished pink are from that. So yeah, even if you don't want to use all your landscapes, as I say, there is quite a lot of nice colour on the reverse side for this sort of thing. So anyway, that's where the Designer Series paper for this original card came from. This card I'm actually going to be doing with white daisies. I think I actually found on Pinterest that a lot of the a lot of the bouquets that were featured actually had white flowers with the pine cones, and then the green foliage. So the white sort of really stood out. So to make each daisy, I'm actually just going to punch with my medium daisy punch, available online. And punch 2 daisies, and then I'll grab my bone folder, and this is my fairly standard with my daisies. Just grab my bone folder, or you can just use your thumb and your finger, and just give each petal a very gentle curling. And when I say very gentle, you do have to be quite gentle. Probably using the cardstock like I am here, because this is just white cardstock, you can be a little bit more forceful, but if you're using Designer Series paper, as we did with this original card, you need to be really gentle, because the part where they join onto the middle is quite small. Okay, so once I've got those looking like little 8-legged spiders, I'm going to just pop some glue in the center and then pop them on top of each other, and you sort of arrange it so that you can see all the 16 petals now, and you get yourself a little daisy. Quite simple, easy. Probably seen it a million times, but that's a little white daisy. Now, I was just going to use all my daisies just plain like that, but a dear friend who I haven't seen come on yet told me that I couldn't have nude daisies, so I needed to have centres on them. And what I've done is, from the same grey that is the back of that, I've actually just cut with a little hole punch that I've got, a little circle punch. I've just punched them all some little inserts, some little insides. I didn't want to, obviously daisies have, you can see them with yellow insides and that sort of thing, but I didn't want to introduce too many different colours to my design. So I thought I would stick with the grey from behind, the smoky slate from behind the designer series paper, and because I had that hanging around as well. So I've basically got six daisies there, and yeah, that's what I'm going to use for this particular design. So they're going to put them in the same sort of configuration, 1, 3, 2. I think I had it on the original card like this. So I think that's quite pretty. I'll pop them on in a minute once we've got everything we need. Okay, so we've got 6 of those, and I might move the whole thing out of the way. Also, what I need are some pine cones and some leaves. So I'm going to use them from the, as I said, the Christmas season stamp set, which is the highlight of today. I'm using the small pine cone. So the good thing about this, or the nice thing with this stamp set, is that it's 2-part stamping, so you can get some nice sort of details. There's one that is like supposed to be the main part of the pine cone, or the main feature, and then there's this one which is the highlights. It's the sort of the shadows of it. So the main one I'm going to do in crumb cake. Little background stamp, I suppose you'd call it, is in crumb cake. And then the feature, the detail stamp, is in early espresso. So that brings the colour from the card base through as well. Okay, so that is your cute little pine cone there. There is a bigger version, which is this guy here, but I thought that would be too big for the card. It would sort of dwarf the daisies, so I've gone with the smaller one. And I have cut myself 4 of those, so I won't cut this one because I'm just sort of showing you. Okay, so then we need some leaves. So I've used a combination of soft succulent and garden green, and I'm going to use sort of various leaves from the stamp set. This is soft succulent, so this is this little guy here. I'll just show you a sample of them just so you can see what they look like. So that's a soft succulent one. I might keep that there. And then this guy here, maybe in soft succulent as well. So there's some really nice leaves, and I think they probably will be useful throughout the year as well, just to use them on various designs, not necessarily just for Christmas. What do they say? Puppies are not just for Christmas? Well, this stamp set's not just for Christmas either. And then I'm going to use, and the reason this one is going to be used for a couple of things, but this one I'm going to put in garden green. So I'm not going to use the berries because to my mind that is specifically Christmas. I could be wrong, could be use them for something else, some sort of round plums or something, I suppose, but that's my garden green, and I've done this one here with that. So I've got a selection of leaves there in a mixture of soft succulent and garden green, along with my little pine cone. So I've done a few of those. Pop that away for the minute. I've got, I don't need that one there. I've got, hopefully if they haven't escaped, 4 pine cones. Probably could have gone 5, but I'll stick with the 4. Maybe I can die cut the extra one that I did. And then, as I say, various leaves, bits of leaves. You can see I've chopped them around for the first card I don't want to waste them, so I'll use them here as well. Bits and bobs, bits and bobs, bits and bobs. There we are. So that's all my leaves there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to use with my daisies. So we might as well get started. We'll bring in our daisies first. So I'm going to attach the daisies first, and then I'll bring everything else tucked in and around. And as I say, it's going to be like a one, so one on its own. So I'm looking at this as being a bouquet, and starting with the stem and the ribbon down here, and then the bouquet itself going along the rest of the, up that way towards the left corner of the card. So I'm going to, whereas I had to traumatise about what colours to match up with the first card, I don't have to bother now because they're all just white. So it's, as I say, it's sort of a 1, 3, 2 sort of line up here. So I've got the daisies sort of close, not quite, touching a wee bit, but not overlapping too much, because I want to be able to bring those pine cones in without too much problem. Sort of arrange them underneath, sort of thing. I really like that white against the wood grain of the paper, so that's what made me think it would be nice, with a bit more contrast. I also did it, and I don't know what you guys think of it. I know it was Jan actually liked it. I haven't seen Jan come on yet. Anyway, Jan actually liked it more than the white. This is the little flower from the, must be another one there somewhere. This is the little flower from the artistically inked bundle. I must have another one. Yeah, another pale papaya one somewhere. But that was one option as well. I don't know if you guys think that might have been worth pursuing. I might make one if I can find. I'd actually down to my last sheet of this designer series paper, so I had to choose which way. So I went with the daisies, but yeah, so that's another option with the artistically inked as well. Okay, but I digress. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my pine cones. I'm just going to nuzzle them under the, I'm going to use take my pick just to gently persuade the petals up a bit. And I'm just going to pop the pine cones behind the, sort of like, so they're sneaking out from behind the leaves, if that makes sense, a bit like that there. And what I'm going to do, I've cheat a tiny bit. I'm going to put some glue on one end just to attach it at the base, and then I'm going to pop a dimensional at the other end, just so it sits up a little bit and looks like it's got some 3D happening. So hopefully that makes it look a little bit realistic as well. So there we are. So I'll do that with all 4. And that helps to sort of cover in a bit of the blank space as well. And another one. And the last one. As I said, I think I probably could have done with the 5th, but that's okay. I might die cut the last one and pop it on later. There we are. Not keen on that one where it is. It needs to be a wee bit higher. That's better. There we are. So we have our sort of pine cones on there as well. And they sort of do stand up a bit as well, so they sort of match the 3D effect of the daisies. So I'm going to bring these leaves in now. So I'm going to pop them up and underneath as well. So this one here with the garden green, I'm going to actually nip its ends off because I don't really need it quite that long. If I can find my scissors, I might just nip him off at the base a bit. Oh, running away. And I'm going to feed this one in up and under here, just to cover a bit of that blank space that I've created there, and give the bouquet a wee bit of like height, if that makes sense, because that's the top of it fundamentally. I've got a bit of a gap here that I didn't have with my other one. I might have to fill that with a leaf as well. So I'm going to just pop the glue on. I'm hoping everyone's liking this. It's not a standard design. I don't think I actually found when I went on Pinterest and Googled flowers and pine cone cards, nothing actually came up. So fairly safe to say this, at least this time round, probably this would be amongst the only cards that have it. So if you've seen any, please let me know. As I say, I have based it on actual bouquets that I found online. I'm going to fill this bit of a gap with a flower, with a leaf. If I can get it to go in, there we are. There we are. That's better. That filled a bit of a gap. I'm going to bring these others in around as well. This one might be a wee bit long. I might nip that off as well. And you take your pick tool, is very handy for this. You can lift them and pop them underneath. So how are we going? And I've got some other bits and bobs. I might bring those around. I'm actually going to put some leaves in the bouquet itself as well. So in here, just to bring some of the green in. And obviously when you see a proper bouquet, depends how you say that. I don't know, I've always said bouquet. People say bouquet. Is it a oo or a o sound? I'm actually going to cut some of these and put them on the inside as well. This one I think I've got planned for over there though. So I'm liking how this white is coming out. I'm really liking this with the white and the brown and the grey and the brown. And we've got a little double leaf there. I'm going to just pop that inside. And then what's left, I'll pop that inside as well. Where's that one going to go? Maybe there. Okay, what do you think of that? Thank you, Kay. You think it's looking good? Yeah, Kay, I think it is different. Oh, who was it said? Yeah, Glenda, I think it is different. Different maybe in a good way, maybe different in a bad way. I'll let you guys decide that. So what I have is the little end stem that I chopped off this particular one, which I haven't used. I probably should have used the rest of those. Anyway, the little end stem, that's two sort of terminating leaves from the end there. I'm actually just going to use that as the, I think it was that one. No, it might be this one. The little end one. I'm just going to bring that up and under and use that as the sort of looks like the stem of the of the arrangement itself, if that makes sense. If I pop that down there, I can't remember actually. Maybe it was this one. Maybe it was this one I used. One of them looked quite good. Might be this one. Just bring that in, and rather than having a formal sort of end piece, or you've got a sort of a stem that sticks out like that, Obviously, a bouquet of this size would have quite, in real life, would have quite a larger stem than that. And what I've actually done with the original, if you can see that there, I actually cut some stems from the tulip dies. They're the actual stems of the tulips. So I cut those out of soft succulent and popped them there, but I found it exceptionally fiddly and hard to get into the right place, and really not worth the effort once you covered it with the label and the ribbon. So I thought, well, I've got this sitting here not being used. I might just use that. So I'm going to pop that there just with a piece of glue. I wonder if I should use the bigger one. Sorry, I'm going to redesign my card while I'm here, which is always not a good thing. Actually, I'm going to use this bigger one, I think. Looks a bit more substantial with the extra leaves on there. So save it going into the garbage bin. I'm going to use this. Just like that. Okay, and we're nearly done. As much as there was a lot of stamping and punching and stuff like that, it's not an overly complicated card, I suppose you could call it, you could say. Okay, so for the inside, for the rest of it, I have a ribbon out of soft succulent. So I used soft succulent this one because I didn't want, there was no pale papaya to bring out. So I've used a pale papaya ribbon with this one, but I'm going to use the soft succulent with this one. And I did have, and I hope I haven't lost it, this is from the tailored tag. So this is the smallest tailored tag from that die set. So I'm going to use that one as well. This bow, although the things keep coming together, is actually a double bow, which I tied around my fingers. So I thought I'd show you how to tie that double bow as well, just in case you've never seen anyone do a double bow with their fingers. I'm not going to use that ribbon because I don't think you'd be able to see it. I'm actually going to use the ribbon, this much more substantial ribbon from the soft succulent. Okay, so to tie a double bow, or the way I do it with my fingers, is that you lay the end of the ribbon across your hand like that. So you're actually only just going to use the top two fingers, so your pointy finger and your, what my kids would call your rude finger. So your point finger and your rude finger, you lie it across that and you hold it in place with your thumb. And now I've called it my rude finger. I'm not going to be able to call it anything else. You rest your thumb on your rude finger. And then for a double bow, you go around once and twice. So you go around the full 2 times. Then with this end, you pop that back through between your 2 fingers, between your pointy finger and your rude finger. Bring it back around and then hook it, and then what is the word? And then loop it back under that loop that you've created, and then pull it tight. So this one, when your right hand or left hand, depending on, is the only thing you pull, and that's what you pull tight, and that forms the other end of your bow. So that's how you get, you can go, if you go around, oh, pulled it the wrong way when I shouldn't have. If you go around 3 times, you obviously get a triple bow. Depends how many times you go around. If you go once, you just get a single bow. But they're pretty easy to make by themselves. So that's a double bow there that I've made for you. Just got to take that bit back through there. For some reason that got caught on the wrong side of the lure. Okay, so that's a double bow. And as I say, you just tighten it with that one side there, just like that. And then you can weave out your bows to separate them from each other to get the double bow effect. There's lots of YouTube videos showing you how to do that if you find that confusing, but yeah, so it's basically just you hook it around your fingers a few times, or if you've got a bow tire, do that as well. But that's how I've made my little double bow here with the soft succulent. So I'm pretty much finished now, as apart from the bow. I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So with my original card, I had my sentiment coming off this side, which I suppose at the time I wasn't happy with, but I think it's probably the only option. I suppose you could come in It's the most natural option, I suppose, to have it coming off that way. I'm going to use, again, I'm going to make this a Mother's Day card, so Happy Mother's Day. So this is the Happy Mother's Day from the tulip die set. You can use any die that you think will, any die set, stamp set. And I'm going to have to mask it because the Happy Mother's Day itself is too long for my stamp. So this time I'm going to do it in soft succulent because I haven't got any other colours. I'm going to try and find my masking tape, which I had here 2 seconds ago. Here it is. So I'm going to mask it so that I can do it on the 2 levels like I have there with that happy Mother's Day. So just grab some masking tape. I'm going to first of all mask the happy part. I'm going to have that on its own. As soon as I did it this way, I realised that I probably could have just, because it's a lovely straight stamp set, I could have probably just stamped off the edge of the stamp set. But anyway, that's okay. Just stamped it like that, so I just got the happy, which was like a million times easier. But anyway, we'll mask it now. So then remember to take the masking tape off because otherwise there's no point. And I often forget to take the masking tape off. And then we can stamp our happy. There we are. Then I'll bring my masking tape in and then just mask the happy, and then I'll stamp the Mother's Day. There we are. So I've stamped that Happy Mother's Day over 2 levels rather than just one. Not very well, but I have done it. We'll go with it. Okay, so my Happy Mother's Day tag is just going to be like, it's like the tag from the gift tag from the florist. It's just going to be off there, just like that, like it's been made part of the bouquet. And then my ribbon is going to be part of that as well, just like that. So I'm going to pop my sentiment onto on some dimensionals. I'll have to position it so it's not going to overlap that pine cone too much. And then with a glue dot, I'll pop in my bouquet, my ribbon, and we are done. So I'm just going to pop that over. The natural place for it would be just where the little hole is in my sentiment stamp, in the tag. I'll get there in a minute. There we are. So I might have to, thank you, Vicky. Yes, we need bling to trim that end off. But we'll see how we go. It might be okay the way it is. So there is our bouquet. And as Vicky does remind me, I need some bling. So I'm going to use the iridescent jewels. Just pop those around. I'm going to pop them, I might use 5, go out all out and pop a couple up here where there's a bit of a gap. And then another couple down around the sentiment there to highlight that. One down there and one up over here. I think that's basically where I landed with the other one as well. Okay, so there we are. What do you guys think about that? I think it's quite lovely. I do have a couple of Mother's Day cards to give my mother this year. I might have to give one to Stephen so he can give it to his mum, or maybe fob it off on the kids' girlfriends to give to their mums. But yeah, I've got what else did I, that fold back pop-up card that I made a few weeks ago. I had it earmarked for my mum, but I think I'm having doubts. I think I actually like this one now. Okay, so there are my cards, my pine cone and flower cards. As I say, if you can find another example of them made into cards, please tag me or send me a link or something. But I'm pretty sure this is the first card I've seen. I could be wrong. There might be them going back years and years and years. But anyway, as far as I'm concerned, you guys, you saw it here first. So the whole white daisies remind me of flannel flowers. I don't know what flannel flowers are, Maureen. I'm going to have to Google it. Anyway, so there they are. So I don't know if you prefer the coloured daisies or the white daisies. I don't know. I'm sort of tossing up. I think I actually like the white daisies a bit better. And I definitely love their little grey insides because they were a little bit, as Jan said, they were a little bit nude before. Okay, so that's my card for you today. Hope you've enjoyed that and give it a go. See if you can get pine cones into the most unusual places. And if you do manage to get a card with a pine cone snuck in, please share it with me. I'd love to see many ways of using pine cones. Yeah, let's see how we go. Let's make a pine cone revolution. All right, then. It's just silly. Okay, I will talk to you all again next week, or during the week. I'll pop on midweek and do some sort of some card. I don't know what yet. Reminded my Fun Fold class for April closes this weekend. So if you're keen on that one and haven't got around to it yet, please shoot your money through. And next week I will also be once I close the Fun Fold, I will start advertising my product class, which, as if you watched me last week, is featuring the New Horizons Designer Series paper. So I keep showing you all these wonderful things you can do with that particular Designer Series paper. So hopefully you will pop on board with that product class as well. Okay, so great to see you all. Have a great weekend and keep safe. And I will see you all again next week. Okay, bye.